everyone, and welcome. Today we have a really exciting menu. We are making a menu out of leftovers. It's something we all have in our fridge, and it's something that sometimes we don't know what to do with, and so things go uneaten, and that's money lost. So today we're making frittatas with leftover vegetables and rice. And a frittata is basically an omelet baked in the oven. I'm making frittata muffins because they're really easy and compact. You can take a few on the go, and then when you're not eating them, if you have leftovers, you can freeze them for up to 3 months. And the amazing thing about eggs is that they microwave really well, actually. It's one of the only things that makes something come back to life in the microwave. You put it in for 30 seconds and the egg re-moisturizes and is pretty much exactly how you cooked it. So that said, let's get into it. So I have 6 eggs in here. I'm gonna make about 6 muffins, and if I have more, I'll just fill up the tins. I have a 12 tin capability. So the oven is heating, it's preheated at 350, and when we put these in, we'll put them in for about 20 minutes. But right now I have 6 eggs in this bowl, and I'm just going to whisk them up. And I have a little bit of water. I mean, this is a lot of water, but I'm just gonna put in a dash just to make the eggs a little fluffy. When you add water to eggs, it makes them fluffy. When you add milk or cream, it makes them dense and creamy. And you don't need to add anything at all. Eggs are pretty great the way they are. They're full of protein, they're full of lutein, which is essential for good eyesight. And okay, so we have some leftover stir-fried vegetables. Food Forward gave us amazing produce this week. Well, they always do. But we have some broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, and bell pepper. And I think I cooked this with a little bit of garlic and salt and pepper as well. So I'm not going to add all of this. I will just add maybe half of the bowl. And then I have a whole cup of rice. This is cold rice. It's been left over in the fridge. The fun thing about cold rice is, before you get to this step, you can make fried rice, and then you can use the fried rice that's left over and throw it in these muffins. So it's like rice just keeps on giving. You can do so many things with it, and it's a good source of carbohydrates, a good source of fiber. I'm gonna add all of this in here together and mix it up with this fork. So when these muffins cook, the rice will settle down on the bottom and create kind of like a patty, if that's the best way I can describe it. But it will be full of things in your mouth because there's a lot of vegetables in here, there's a lot of vitamins, there's a lot of nutrients, and protein, of course. So that's all you do. I just added those ingredients. I'm not going to add too much salt because the vegetables have already been cooked with salt, as has the rice. So you don't want to over salt thinking you're making a new dish. You have to remember that you've already cooked these leftovers, so they're probably seasoned exactly to your liking, whatever you put in there. So I'm just going to add a little bit more because the eggs probably diluted whatever salt is in there, probably like half a teaspoon. And then I'll just mix it up again, just to get it mixed up. And now I'm going to set that aside for a sec. And with my muffin tin, I have a little bit of oil and I have a pastry brush, and I'm going to brush the sides and the bottom of the muffins containers. And if you don't have a brush, you can easily use a paper towel or your fingers and just rub it inside the muffin tin. It's perfectly fine. You don't need a fancy utensil. Make sure that if you are oiling your tin, you get on the top too, because the muffins, since they have eggs in them, they will rise a little bit, and you don't want the top sticking to the top of the tin. Set that aside, and let's fill it up. I'm losing everything. Everything's falling down, but we'll keep going. It's fine. We'll survive. All right. So I'm just going to fill them up about, it's probably a little too much. I want to aim for 3/4 of the way so they do have room to expand. I'll just use a spoon and try to empty out that one a little bit later. I mean, as you can see, outside of the cooking time, this took about 5 minutes because everything was already done for me. So it really is something, and I have more than enough to make more muffins, so I'm gonna keep going. Really is an easy, economical way to make your dollar last and to make fun, interesting things with stuff that you've already made. I mean, no one has time to cook for themselves every single day. Maybe not no one, but it's hard. It's hard to keep it up. And so if you can make your life easy and save money in the process, I say yay. Okay, great. So note to self, 6 eggs, a cup of rice, and some leftover vegetables makes 12 muffins. I didn't know that because I wasn't counting when I made all of this, but it is good to know. And everything looks pretty even, so we'll just see what happens as an experiment to the guy that's a little too full. That's it. I'm going to pop this in the oven, 350 again, for about 20 to 25 minutes, and we will come back. Hey, so we're back, and while the frittatas are in the oven, we're going to grill some zucchini. It's super simple. The grill, I love the grill. I love it. And I love the inside grill. An iron griddle with one side for like pancakes or fish or shrimp or whatever, or vegetables, and the other side for meats or, again, vegetables, which is what we'll be using it for today, is so lovely because it gives you a charred flavor, it gives you little lines to make you feel like a professional chef and makes your food look pretty, and it's super simple and pretty healthy for you to do so. So without hesitation, let's get started. I'm just going to do a few asparagus. We have these beautiful asparagus here. They've already been washed, and nothing else has to be done to them except I'm going to cut off about 2 inches of the stalk. The stalk, the further you get away from the tree, the more stringy asparagus gets, but you know, it's really good. The stalk is pretty intense though. It's very stringy, so I'm just going to cut that. And I'm going to lay them in this dish, and I'm going to sprinkle them with a little bit of olive oil. Slippery. And I will add a little salt. And that's all I'm going to do. When these are done, I'll add some lemon, but right now that's it. And I'll just mix them up with my hands, and you want to make sure that you get all of the oil on the whole asparagus stalk. And that's it. Now let's bring them over to the grill. The grill has been heating up a little bit. You don't want to get it too hot so it's smoking because that's not good for the metal, but you want it hot enough to cook, and I think it's there. So, okay, we're at the stove. Here we are. Let's grill some asparagus. So the griddle has been heated. It's nice and hot. The asparagus is oiled, so you don't need to do anything else to the grill. This is the grill, actually. The griddle's on the other side, so just for you guys to not get confused, I'm just going to place these guys on them this way so we get more black lines, the char lines, across the asparagus. Since the asparagus is so thin, you know, you need to put it in the direction where you're going to get the most lines. And we'll just let it cook like that. That's really it. So this will take a few minutes. As soon as I feel like, well, I'll check them in a second, and as soon as they get some lines on them, I'll flip them over. And the nice thing about asparagus and zucchini is that it cooks so quickly. You can really do this at the last minute, sprinkle it with whatever, vinegar, lemon juice, and like you're good to go and you're ready to serve your food. So we'll just check it in a sec, and we'll get right back to you. Okay, so just because I didn't want to talk the whole time while you waited for these to char, you don't have to listen to me while we're doing that, but it actually has been like a minute and a half. This does go really quickly, and they're starting to get their little lines. I'm just gonna flip them over and let them cook on the other side now. Move these guys over. And we'll do it all over again, and then they'll be done. The frittatas, I actually set a timer for 15 minutes, just a little bit ahead of when I anticipated they would be done, and because of the size of the muffin, they're almost done. So all together, the frittatas are cooking for about 15 minutes and not 20 to 25. Depending on the depth of what you're cooking and the size, it's gonna take more or less time, but these muffins were actually pretty small. So when I'm done cooking this, it'll basically be ready. Okay, the muffins are ready. Frittata muffins, 20 minutes total, I would say, to make the whole thing from start to finish. This little guy that was overfilled, he ended up being fine, so the world is saved and the muffins are done. Let's plate it up. So I'm gonna set these aside. Remember, when you are setting something down on a counter and your counter is not heat safe, please remember to put something underneath it, or else you'll get a big burn mark or a cracked counter, and you don't want that. I'm just gonna add some lemon to the asparagus and a little bit of salt, and we'll set that aside. So in order to do this, isn't this a little beautiful baby, a little beautiful lettuce baby? So in order to plate this, I'm just gonna put a little bit of lettuce on here. I'm gonna cut the bottom. I've already washed this and rinsed this off a little bit. And I'm going to put the whole thing. So I thought these leaves were going to be bigger, and I was going to take off a few leaves and place them down, but actually this is pretty nice the way it is, and I feel like it's pretty much the size of a personal salad. So I'm going to leave it like this, and I'm going to actually maybe just cut a little bit more off the bottom, and then I'm going to leave it like this, and I'm going to put it down there. And then I'll just add a little bit of olive oil. So when I'm filling up, I want to fill up the cap first and then put the olive oil on, because sometimes when I'm in a rush or not, I will over pour things because I'm not paying attention. So I feel like it's always a better practice to use the cap. Add a little bit of salt. I'm gonna add a little bit of lemon. Let's get some vinegar. Just a little bit. I'm using balsamic, but you can use any kind. We've got the tongs. We'll put the asparagus on there. And then with the muffins, what you want to do, and you want to be careful because this metal is non-stick, so you don't want to go scraping around the sides or the bottom with a sharp knife, but you just want to lightly loosen up the sides, because in cooking it probably has stuck a little bit, and you want to take the muffin out gently. So this one is totally fallen apart in my fork. So let's try another one. Let's keep going until we get it right. So it just goes to show, nothing is perfect, and cooking doesn't have to be this professional, like, perfect experience, and you have to be like, you have to have gone to cooking school to do it, and even people that go to cooking school mess up. So just enjoy yourself and remember that nothing is perfect, and it is kind of boring if it is. So it's okay to make mistakes. Okay, get a second one. This one's sticking too. Note to self, oil the pan more. Okay, I got it. All right. Put that aside. And here we go. We have frittata muffins asparagus, and a quick and simple salad. I hope you enjoyed this, and let us know how it is.